Hello friends, good morning. Today let us get into the 7th session of the video lecture series on learning disability. So today onwards we are going to get into the technical aspects of, we are going to get into the training module. That is how to enhance the attention, how to help the children to read better, to write, to improve the spelling, all those things we are going to see in the following sessions. Okay, now before I get into that, I would like to tell you that these sessions are for all the teachers and the parents, especially the primary teachers and the parents. Okay, this is not only to the parents who have children with learning disability or for the teachers who deal with children with learning disability, because we have to remember that it is actually difficult to identify whether our children has got learning disability. It will take maybe 6 years or 7 years. So therefore, it is better that we can introduce these techniques, these programs, these activities even before itself, so that it will be helpful for all. Even for teachers when they are handling the pre-KG classes and also the first standard, second standard, that time they cannot identify. It is difficult to identify who are the children with learning disability so as to help them individually. So they have to, give the activities for everybody on the whole, so that if there are children with learning disability in the class, they will be benefited all the more. And so therefore, I want all the teachers, all the primary teachers and all the parents to look at it as something that you can do it for all. It will be helpful for all. Okay, and the second point, as I said, is these activities are for all the children, not only for children with learning disability. Children without learning disability, with these activities, they become much more sharper and brighter. That's all. Okay, so it's not going to do any harm, rather it's going to help them all the more. So we can administer all these things to everybody. And the third point is why we have to focus on these kind of activities, simple intervention activities right from the early age itself, is because our focus should be, learning should be fun. Okay, if we are taking away this concept of, if learning is not fun oriented, if it is going to be boring, or if it is going to be too heavy for the children, they will lose interest. Even children without learning disability, everybody will lose interest, because nowadays there is so much of visual media attractions outside. So this normal way of learning will definitely take away the interest among the kids, and it might have an impact in the long run. So therefore, in the initial stage itself, we'll have to give one lesson to the kids that learning is really fun. So come and enjoy that. So that is a very important role of a teacher as well as parent. So that here, after that, they will start enjoying learning by doing things and everything. So these are the important points I'd like to tell before I begin with this 7th session. Okay, now this session is about attention enhancing activities. Okay, and some of the children with learning disability, they have this problem because their concentration will be very less. Now this is a common problem which we find among everybody. The attention of the kids are very, very less. Because of that, after a period of time, they are not able to listen to the teachers or do anything, and therefore they lose marks or they perform very poorly in the academics. So therefore, we have to increase the concentration or increase the attention span of the children. So the following activities is some things that will help them to enhance their attention. First, let me tell you, there is something called color cancellation test. Okay, this is for age 5 to 7. Now this is a test that is we actually did it for testing the attention span itself, which comes in the NIMHANS battery. So this is what I did. Now this is a sheet with several circles of several colors in rows. Now I'll just show you this. Okay, can you see different rows, 10 rows and 10 columns, wherein different colors, circles are there. Okay, and these colors are repetitive, as you can see. Now we'll have to ask the children actually to color. We have to name like color pink and green and yellow. First we have to tell them only not color, strike off. We'll have to give them a pencil and ask them to strike off the colors which are pink. And then we'll have to say now color yellow. And then we'll have to say maybe color black. Okay, so when we say that, maybe we can give a combination of everything also. So we can try it in different ways and see how many they were able to do it correctly and how many they did it wrongly. Okay, now if they have to focus on this, and like a game, if you are going to conduct it, this will increase the attention span very well. Okay. Now what we have to do is that as parents and teachers, this is a very simple activity. We'll have to take down the time taken for completing this. Okay. And so that every time, every day or every week when we do this, we can see whether there is an improvement or not. Another thing is that we'll have to note down number of right answers, number of right ticks, okay, and the number of wrong, or both. Okay, so the number of right minus the number of wrong will give the somewhat a score. Now this is how it is tested. Now you need not do all those things, but still I'm telling. Okay, so out of 100, there are 100 circles in it. So out of 100, if they are able to 80% they are able to do it correctly, which means they have adequate attention span. But if they are lesser than that, if there are mistakes more, then we can understand that they have little poor attention, and we'll have to do such activities more and more to improve their attention span. That's it. So some kids do not have that, so we can give them practice to improve their attention span, which will help them to retain information and study well and reproduce it also. Okay. Now for ages 8 to 12 years, this is what it is done. For 8 to 12 years of kids, if suppose we are trying to improve their attention span, we can give something like this. That is the same way, 10 rows and 10 columns, and each box has got different numbers, single digit numbers. So we can write different numbers, and the numbers are also repetitive. If suppose number 4 will come many times here, and then we'll have to ask them, now strike off number 4 and 5, or we can give strike off 4, 5 and 6. So we can see how concentrated they will be during this activity. And every time they finish this activity, we can applaud them and we can tell them okay, very good. And it, like a game, we'll have to conduct it. So by this they will also increase the attention, and it's also a test to know their attention span. Okay. Now this is the first method, and I'll give you around 10 methods. I'll tell you very fast so that you can do all these things, or you can choose whatever you can do. It's up to you. Okay. But the parents and teachers have to take interest. Simple things only. Now the second method is stringing beads. There are small beads, small ones, big ones and all. We can just buy it and keep it in a box, and then we can have a nylon, a thread also, and we'll ask them to string the beads inside that. First we can ask them to put the bigger ones, so it is easier. Then we can slowly ask them to put the smaller ones. So it takes a lot of focus and attention for them to take those beads and then string it inside that thread. Okay, this is a very good activity, and finally you can ask them to make a big nice necklace out of it, a chain out of it. We can give it to them, and all those things we can do it. But this is a great brain exercise which helps them to increase their attention level. Okay, then even for these also we can see how long does it take for them. All those things we can note it down. So this noting it down is for our sake, so that we can see whether there is improvement or not, and all those things. And every time they do, we should not discourage them, we have to encourage them to do it. Only then learning will become fun. The third activity could be join the dot game. All these things we would have done those days and all. There will be number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there will be a picture, right? And we have to just join the dot. So they'll have to look at where is 1, and then from where 1 they'll have to take it to 2, and then from there they'll have to take it to 3. And when they are just doing all those things, finally they'll get a shape. So they will be very interested to see, maybe it is a cat or it may be a rat. So they'll be interested, but it's only joining the dot. So they'll have to focus on that. By this, their attention will increase. So just fun activities, that's it. And then the fourth activity could be coloring within the lines. So what we can do is that we can just draw a small circle, or it can be a small pussycat or something in our own way. We can just do some drawing and ask them to color within the lines. And the color should not go outside. So we'll have to say that if it goes outside, if it is within the line, I'll reward you with this. So we can give small tokens or small appreciation for that. So with that, for that motivation part, small incentive part, they will do it. So like that, their attention will increase. This actually helps a lot in their early brain formation itself. Okay, so coloring within the lines. So I said the first method is, this color cancellation, then stringing, then joining the dot, then coloring within the lines. And the fifth one is cutting pictures and sticking them. we can actually say, we can actually draw a circle, and we can actually draw a square, or we can actually draw something and ask them to cut according to that size and then stick it inside. So they'll have to cut it and then they'll have to stick it. It needs a lot of, it also helps in finger motor coordination, but it helps in the attention level very well. Or we can actually, we can cut and keep it also. And we can ask them to just stick it within that thing. A circle should be coming on the, should be stuck on the circle. A square piece should be stuck on the square. So they can just do that. We can cut and keep it also. Right? Such things should be the toolkits of all the primary school teachers in their classrooms. That should be the homework that they have to do, and they can just give it at random to kids so that the kids will enjoy the classes, not just focusing only on the syllabus and portions in the very young age itself. Right? Then we have find the difference game. That's a very interesting game. Even now I would like to do that. Find the difference. So there will be two pictures, which we can find a lot in Google and many other places nowadays. Those days, we need to wait for some books, Chanda Mama and other books. We need to wait for one game like that. But nowadays we can find umpteen of it. We just have to take a printout and then give it to them, and then say, now find the difference. Find the difference between one picture. So they'll have to keenly notice it, and they'll have to spot out the difference, which is very interesting and helps a lot in attention development. Okay, and then copying pictures. Copying pictures is another one. Simple, a cat, picture of a cat, and we can ask them to copy the same way into another paper. So how much they are able to observe and they are able to copy it. This is not a drawing exercise. We are only trying to see how much focus and attention they are having, because the ears have to be drawn. They should not miss out on anything. Those people who do not have concentration, they just randomly do something and leave it and go. So this is what we need to change. So this copying pictures really helps them. And backwards counting, such a wonderful brain development exercise. Backwards counting. So it's very easy to say, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. But when we tell the kid, now count backwards from 10, the child needs to put extra effort and think and cannot be diverted. So only then the child will be able to say 10, 9, 8, 7 and 6. The other things comes very fast without the involvement of the brain, but here they'll have to use the brain and the concentration level will increase. So these are some of the things that on and off at random throughout the day, anytime we can just give it, but it's a treatment, it's a therapy. And then, and some kids are maybe very good in, they don't like to do these kind of, take pencil and do all those things. For such kids, we can do some dancing games. Dancing games are in YouTube or any other place we can find, or we ourselves can actually do. We can imitate. We'll say that whatever I'm doing, you'll have to mirror me. You'll have to imitate me. Suppose I'm showing my hands like this, they will do that. I'm lifting my hand and they'll have to lift the right hand itself. So they will focus on looking at me, or focus or looking at the person who is dancing. Simple steps, and they will also do that. This way they will enjoy doing this, at the same time their attention, because they should not make mistake. So that is what we'll have to monitor and say, no, you have made a mistake, now let's do it again. So making it fun and all those things will enhance their attention. This helps a lot in improving their performance. Okay, so these are some of the 10 methods I've actually told now, very simple ones which can be done at home itself. Okay, this can be done by teachers as well as parents. Okay, now specifically for teachers, I can give you a group activity, wherein suppose if you have identified some children with learning disability, and actually you can form a small group. Maybe in the class there will be 40 students, you cannot have a big group like that. You can just select around 6 or 7 kids, and in that the children with learning disability whom you have already identified should be chosen, will be there. And so as a circle you'll have to make them sit, and you also should be part of the circle. And the teacher can actually say that I went to the shop and bought apples. So she can begin like that. And the next child should say that I went to the shop and bought apples and mangoes. So the second child has to add apples and then mangoes. When it goes to the third child should have observed and listened to what was happening. And the third child should say, I went to the shop and I bought apples, mangoes and bananas. So like that, this is the way it's a game, and if they make a mistake, we'll just, not to pinpoint them, but then they will enjoy doing this small activity, but at the same time their attention is greatly enhanced. So such things we can do without their knowledge itself. For the kids, it's just a game, but for us it is treatment. It is helping them to develop the brain development itself. So these are some of the attention enhancing activities. Hope they were useful for you. Everything will be useful only when you practice it. Okay, so thank you. God bless.